units with their lights and sirens behind him. But if he starts to drive recklessly again, if let's say he starts crossing over all lanes, driving on the right shoulder, dangerous driving of that nature, they could very well get some units behind him and go in a full pursuit mode again.
Well, that was my question. Are there units behind him or no? It's just simply from overhead?
Yeah, so they're in the area, and you see one there actually on on the right side of the screen, but you'll notice his lights and sirens are not on. Of course, we wouldn't be able to hear the sirens, but I can tell you that at least from we can see visually, the lights are not on, in hopes that this guy won't realize that there's a unit behind him, and he'll just continue to drive normally, perhaps drive home, drive to a friend's house, just basically drive somewhere where he gets himself out of the vehicle, and they can take him into custody without incident.
Where is he right now, Ileana, the driver?
So he is still trucking along here in Long Beach northbound on the 405 freeway coming up to Alameda. So we're not far from Long Beach Airport. At this point, the freeway is pretty wide open in both directions. And I am hearing them talk about a possible spike strip. And the reason they can start to think that route is because there is a pattern of his driving. He is staying in one lane on the 405 freeway, so they very well could get up ahead, deploy some spikes, and hopefully he'd run them over, and then his tires would slowly start to deflate, and that could bring things to an end.
I would imagine putting a spike strip on the 405 comes with a great deal of difficulty and risk, right?
Yeah.
It is incredibly dangerous to the CHP officer that is given that task, because he could very well get hit by the driver or even another driver. It really is a dangerous situation. And unfortunately, that has happened at times where officers are struck in their attempt to put out a spike strip. So what I am hearing is that they're going to try to run a traffic break to give those officers a little bit of room to be able to deploy that spike strip. So I'm not going to give the exact location where that's going to happen, just in case the person in the vehicle is listening to our broadcast or a friend is listening to the broadcast. That way he doesn't get a heads up about it. But after he passes that point, I can point it out. But for now, continuing northbound on the 405 freeway coming up to the city of Carson.
Pretty much maintaining the same speeds. He's pretty much staying in that carpool lane. As you said, there we go now, guys. Moving over.
Ooh, they're pressing him.
And they are moving it a little bit, Ileana. Certainly he knows that they're still following him.
Yeah, now they are in a full pursuit mode, Robert, with those black and whites behind him with their lights on as well. So if this guy didn't know he was in a pursuit, he sure knows it now, with the units right on his tail. Of course, you still have the helicopter overhead. And in a situation like this, it actually does help other drivers who are on the road to know that this is a vehicle that is involved in a pursuit. When they weren't behind him, this guy flies right past you at what is now 100 miles an hour, and you just think it's a crazy driver. You don't realize that this is a guy who's in the middle of a pursuit. But now that these ground units are behind him with their lights and sirens on, it lets everybody else on the road know that it's time to move over and get out of the way.
As we update you here, we are talking about a suspected DUI driver, male or female, we don't know. Can't confirm who else may be in that truck. Started in Newport Beach, according to Ileana Moreno, and has now been on the 405 since Seal Beach as it heads into the Carson area here. The 405 looks pretty open, and now this driver seems to be very much aware that the CHP is following behind, and looks like sort of moving back and forth, Ileana, trying to decide what the next move is going to be. But bringing our viewers back into something that I think is going to be a very unique thing to witness, if in fact we do witness it, a spike strip on the 405. Is that still what you're hearing as a possibility?
Yeah, I did hear them still talking about it. It is a possibility, but it might not be now that he's transitioning to the 110 freeway. So he seemed to be fully committed to that 405, but looks like he may be transitioning here. I think this is going to put him on the southbound side, but we'll know as soon as he completes the transition. So we're still in Carson. Additional units of the CHP getting behind him right at the interchange here between the 405 and the 110 freeway. And again, he's still completing the transition, so I'll be able to confirm the direction as soon as he finishes it. But I have a feeling this is going to drop him onto the southbound 110 freeway here in Carson.
You know, when you look at this, not only are you concerned about someone who's trying to evade the police, but this is someone who is impaired, and you have to be very concerned about those people on the road, even though the 405 pretty much open, Ileana. But as you know, anything can happen.
What's up, everybody? So we got another chase. If you guys could hit the like button, I'd appreciate that too. 19 a.m. in the morning over here on the East Coast, but this is happening in Cali. By the way, the man that lit himself on fire has passed away, which is not surprising. The severe burns that this guy took, you know, it didn't look like he was going to come back from that. So just a heads up.
So this is going to keep him here on the 110 South.
Morning.
I'm hearing the description from the CHP of the driver. They're saying that it is a man. So they're saying that it is a man, and they're not seeing anyone else. So at this point, we believe it is a solo occupant here that is continuing to try to evade the California Highway Patrol after evading Newport Beach Police, apparently for DUI.
If this driver, now we know it's a man, Ileana, moves back into Long Beach, I would imagine also that there are some serious roadblocks that could possibly be in the way. Are there, in fact, going to be, due to the Long Beach Grand Prix, that there would be some type of closures that could end this pursuit?
Yeah, if he heads towards Long Beach, I was actually at the Grand Prix earlier today, and I can tell you that there are a lot of street closures in the area, a lot of places that are coned off. And even though the activities for the day are over, you still have a lot of pedestrian traffic in that area. A lot of people that are just enjoying their night out here on a Friday night. So frequent, they're going to some of the restaurants and bars there in the area. So it is an extremely busy area. And so that, of course, is if he goes towards Long Beach, which is a little bit to our east. For now, he's still in Carson, but he seems to be slowing down a bit. So this is really interesting. I'm wondering if perhaps he's either lost and is trying to figure out where to go from here, or maybe he's running out of gas. But we are seeing a big change in the speeds now here. Only about, he had dropped down to about 45. He's picking it up again just a little bit. But again, at one point, we saw 100 miles an hour. So this is a big difference.
Picking up speed again here, and we can hope that he does avoid that Long Beach area, specifically as we saw from our David Bigger, who was down there today. There are a lot of people that are gathering in that city this weekend for that major event. And so he is right now continuing, Ileana, on the 110 South. And you talk about possibly running out of gas, if that could be the case. What time did this pursuit start?
So it's unclear exactly what time it started, but to go from Newport Beach all the way here to Carson, it would take reasonably a good 30 minutes without traffic. So we know it's been at least that long. It's unclear how many minutes he was on surface streets in the Newport Beach area. They, of course, are encrypted, which basically means we can't hear their transmissions on the scanner. So it could have been going on for quite some time before he jumped onto that northbound 405 freeway, where it transitioned to the California Highway Patrol, and then at that point we could hear it. So we've been following it pretty much from the Los Alamitos area, from the 405 and the 605, and then we followed it to the 110, where he jumped onto that 110 South, and he's getting that much closer to that area of the freeway where the 110 comes to an end at Gaffey, which is a major street here through the San Pedro area. Lots of homes, lots of businesses, lots of people out and about on a Friday night. So that, of course, is very concerning. But there's also the chance he may just simply jump off the 110 and hop right back on and go north. He's getting very close to where he's going to have to make that choice. And
Ileana, our Simon Desk just informs us that the chase actually began at 11:04. So we are not very long in, and perhaps he has some gas ready to go, that this could go on for a while. What we have seen right now is just the 405 and the 110. Any other freeways involved?
That's all that we've seen while we've been overhead, 405 and now the 110 freeway. And considering that this started in Newport Beach, Robert, most of our pursuits tend to return to an area that the driver is familiar with. A lot of the time, it's the area where the pursuit began. So if he has any intention of getting back to Newport Beach, he is a long ways from home. We're just entering the...
I wonder if they're getting ready to set him up. That SUV thing zoomed right past his ass.
Approaching Anaheim Street, and again, this is where the freeway is going to come to an end, and eventually we'll end up here in the port of Los Angeles. Lots of big rigs there, lots of slow-moving vehicles that he may have to contend with if he keeps.
Might be a good time to set up, because I don't even see any cars I don't know if they went up ahead and kind of put a stop on the traffic. They zoomed past him and they set up some spike strips. He's not even changing lanes. Might be able to get his ass.
Description, and the only reason we got that was that one of the CHP units got very close, close enough so that he could see him and was able to share that description with his fellow officers. But we really don't have any other information of the driver beyond that in terms of whether he may be in communication with officers. But one thing that my pilot, James Pollard, just noticed was that one of the CHP cruisers actually ran up ahead, and that may actually be the unit that's going to deploy that spike strip. Again, they were thinking about doing it on the 405 because he had been pretty committed to that 405 North, but then he made that transition onto that 110 South. So any thought of putting that spike on the 405 freeway died once he got on the 110. So they can definitely try it now that he's on the 110 South.
When was the last time you witnessed a spike strip on a freeway, Ileana?
So I have seen it done. It's usually they try to pick an area that they usually have like a curve, let's say, just so that they have a little bit of a blind curve, basically, so that the driver won't see the spike strip. But what we are seeing is that unit of the CHP did run up ahead to try to deploy it. So we'll see if they're successful in their attempts. But it is very dangerous because if that officer is out of his vehicle when the pursuit vehicle comes by, he always runs the risk, he or she always runs the risk of getting run over. And of course, we hope not to see something like that. But he is now on Gaffey. 110 freeway came to an end, and he's now headed southbound Gaffey.
This dude is flying. He's off the freeway, and he's hauling ass now.
Take him
Jeez.
into a residential area. Could it take another freeway?
I feel like this guy's going to crash or something.
He really speeds up right now.
Yeah, so from this point going forward, his freeway options are gone. In order for him to get back up to a freeway, he would have to go back north to try to pick up the 110 freeway. He could also try to do the 710, but we're a long ways from that. So this is going to be strictly surface streets going forward. A lot of homes in this area. When he was on Gaffey, there were a lot of businesses there too, but now that we're on a smaller street, this is 8th Street, we're going to see more residential type communities coming up. So perhaps this is an area that is familiar to him.
Oh, yeah, he's getting there.
Out there just a little bit. I actually think he might be blacked out too. I hadn't noticed that before, but now that he's tapping on the brakes, I am seeing his brake lights, but when he's not on the brakes, I'm not seeing any lights at all. So he may be blacked out here. It's an older model pickup, blue in color, with, again, a possible DUI driver out of Newport Beach, now all the way in San Pedro.
Is this the moment, Ileana, that the CHP and what other law enforcement is involved says, you know what, got to back off now. We are in a residential neighborhood. Lives are at risk. There are people potentially on the sidewalk. We go now into surveillance mode.
Just like,
that
and
could very well be
it,
Robert, but it may come to an end before that. He is pulling over here. I'm not seeing the driver door open, but the night sun there of the police helicopters overhead. I'm going to ask Jim if he could just scoot just a touch so that we can look at that driver door just in case he opens it. Oh, no, but he's going to take off yet again. So interesting move there, just to pull over there for a second. I wonder if he was just checking his directions to try to figure out where to go from here. Maybe he doesn't know this area as well as we might have thought. But to get back to your question, Robert, they could very well just...
Oh, what happened? Let me pull up Fox. I know Fox is out there. Oh, man.
Stay with us. Ileana is
staying overhead.
Ileana, with all of what you're looking at right now, where do you see the CHP? How far behind him are they?
Yeah, I'm going to try to widen out without losing him. There you go. So not right on his tail, giving him just a touch of room. But he can clearly see them behind him. There's no question about that. Again, this is a possible DUI driver, a pursuit that started in Newport Beach about 25 minutes ago now. Has made its way all the way to San Pedro after jumping on two of our freeways, both the 405 and the 110 freeway, and continues now here through residential streets, but fortunately at slightly slower speeds.
And Ileana, did you see right that there? I'm sure our viewers noticed as well. The CHP patrol unit actually stopped for that red light despite the lights flashing. And perhaps now that is when they are going to be backing off here. Yeah,
that very well could have been the time when they're dropping out, and then Also, this guy had run the red. So the difference is that officers always have to clear that intersection. They can't risk hitting another vehicle in their attempts to continue to chase this guy. So they're always going to be just a little bit delayed behind him because, of course, they don't want to run a red. They don't want to run a stop sign and potentially cause any harm to anyone. But he is actually coming to a full-on stop here. We're at Beacon and 7th.
Okay.
The CHP right behind him. And he turned on his lights as soon as he
now.
got behind him. Slowing down a lot. Maybe he's decided to call it a night here. At the red.
That it?
And CHP officers with their guns drawn.
Didn't look like he ran out of gas.
Wow.
Looks like he just got tired of running.
Yeah, it seems like after this 30-minute chase or so, he's decided to bring things to an end here in San Pedro, just off of 7th and Beacon, right next to a park, and an area where we're really not seeing much in the way of vehicle traffic. As my pilot Jim brings the helicopter around, we'll be able to get a better look here at the driver, who appears to be fully complying at this point. He threw the keys out. That's the first thing he threw out, so there's no chance he can jump back in and take off. But here you go, walking back in the direction of the officers. They're going to give him commands. They're going to handcuff him, and then whenever they feel comfortable, they will approach the vehicle as well, just to make sure that nobody else is inside.
This could have been far worse,
chase,
far more dangerous,
but,
and we had a pursuit that began in Newport Beach that made its way through Seal Beach, Long Beach,
go through a few of them before you get a really good one.
Up here in Los Angeles, this is a suspected DUI driver being taken into custody. This is the second pursuit that we have seen in just the last few hours. If you joined us live for the NBC4 News at 6 o'clock, we were overhead with a Kia Soul that Ileana was telling me before we went on air. And as you look at this picture, we can tell you if you joined us for that pursuit, Ileana, you've got an age on that driver of the Kia Soul.
Yeah, we had that earlier pursuit that you were talking about, Robert, and incredibly, that young man, if I can call him a young man, because he was only 15 years old and was behind the wheel of a possible stolen car and led officers on a very lengthy chase through South Los Angeles. This case here is also another man, but in this case, again, it was a DUI suspect, and fortunately, this pursuit ended here without incident on streets in San Pedro.
You see that they're searching the car right now, Ileana here, and the agency involved is only CHP, as this was a freeway pursuit. They bring him back to Newport Beach now?
Correct, yeah. So this was originally out of Newport Beach, but it was handed over to the California Highway Patrol since it was on the freeways for most of the length of the chase, which was a good 30 minutes. So because it was on the freeways, the CHP are the police of our freeways here in California, so they were best equipped to continue to follow this guy all the way from Newport Beach to San Pedro. Really not too much in the way of close calls, but a really fast-moving pursuit that made its way at the termination of it here on a surface streets, which could have been very dangerous on a Friday night. But fortunately, he decided that it was time to pull over, and he is now in custody.
And as we do with NBC4 News, we really do follow these pursuits even when they end to try and give you the information about those involved. And as we stay overhead, as a service to our viewers, to try and be a community alert, to let people know about this pursuit, to let people know there is a pursuit that is potentially heading into their neighborhood, and to let them know exactly what they may be in for. But what we have right here now is a pursuit that has ended with a sudden surrender, if you will. Correct, Ileana? Just a sudden surrender by a suspected DUI driver, now taken into custody, and is going to have a drive back to where it all began, somewhere in Newport Beach, after going on quite a joyride that lasted just about a half hour.
Yeah, about half an hour all the way from.
Man, so what a crazy, there's so much shit going on. I was looking at this story, too, about a 10-year-old boy in Texas that confessed to killing a stranger in 2022, but he can't be charged under state law. What the F? He shared key details that have not been released to the public. And some Somehow this kid got away with murder. I wonder how he killed this person. He allegedly carried out when he was just 7 years old. The boy is visiting his grandfather who lived in the same RV park and at the time and noticed Raspberry walking around the lot. On the night of the murder, the child said he took a 9mm pistol, which he described as dirt and army green in color, from the glove box of his grandfather's truck and crept into Raspberry's RV. The child said he observed Brandon sleeping in his bed and approached Brandon and discharged the firearm into Brandon, striking him one time in the head. Wow. The child was asked if he was mad at Brandon for some reason or if he had ever done anything to him to make him mad. The child stated no. Wow. So for no reason? Bizarre. You know, I'm surprised too that I was walking around in the neighborhood tonight and I saw some people on the first floor that have these really nice apartments, but I noticed they leave their sliding door open all day. And I was walking by at night and I'm surprised they leave it at night. And I'm like, wow, they're really comfortable to just leave their sliding door open. Anybody can go in there, come up on you, sneak up on you, on your family, whatever. I was shocked. Some people do that. I'd have to lock it down, especially when going to bed. But crazy shit. This guy Max Azarillo, they say he passed away now. I saw a picture on Twitter of his face after he was burnt. What a way to go. Honestly, passing away after he did that might have been better for him. Because I just can't imagine. I hear that type of the recovery when you're burnt like that. To try to come back from that. The pain and suffering. But I was kind of hoping and curious he'd come out of it because I was really wondering when people do shit like that. Do they have like a moment of like clarity? You know, like this guy pours gasoline on himself, lights himself on fire, and I'm wondering at any moment as he's feeling his like skin and flesh burn, and maybe he's suffocating, and whatever happens, you know, at any moment did he be like, I screwed up, fuck, like regret, you know, or is he just all in? I was wondering too. We were talking about it on Discord. I was wondering if he was drugged out. Like I don't know if he drugged himself, took a bunch of perks and shit, and I don't know. So maybe he wouldn't feel much. They say he passed away. Supposedly claim he passed away. And with these people, I was thinking about this too. These people think that like, they're gonna go sacrifice themselves, and I guess they're like some type of martyr. And when they sacrifice themselves, that there's gonna be a big message, and that the world is gonna change, and that you're gonna make a difference, and right now everybody's gonna see your story and your plight. But the reality is you're gonna be a blip in time. You're gonna be a blip in social media and the algorithm. By tomorrow, they're done with you. Your shit's over, or a couple days later, or whatever. On to the next. So you killed yourself for no reason. But I guess that guy can't think logically like that, or mental health, mental illness, and crazy conspiracy theories, and some of these people that are suffering go down these rabbit holes and can't come back, and they really think they're leaving some type of impact, and they're not. The only good thing is, like, at least this guy didn't go try to hurt somebody or kill other people. It didn't seem like he wanted to hurt people. It seemed like he just wanted to get his message across. Thankfully, he didn't try to go do a shooting or mass incident or whatever. Yeah, I was looking at his Substack. So he will be, his time will here and gone, just like that. And that guy came all the way from Florida to, I guess, New York. And also that consumed him too, like his everyday life. I mean, he said he had like 1,500 hours through, or 3,000 hours of like researching, making a website, digging deep and getting lost, and hours and hours and hours obsessing with people, taking notes, writing I can imagine what like his room looked like, or like his computer and shit looked like. Notes and shit everywhere, paranoid. Damn. Yeah, somebody told me about that. Misunderstood. The soldier protesting for Palestine. That person lit themselves on fire. So, well, Jessica says he actually told the woman to run away before he set himself on fire. An interview with the woman is floating around on Twitter. Oh, actually, I think I did tweet that. I retweeted it or something. Let me see if I pull it up. Oh, I saw some. You want to see some crazy dumb shit too? I saw two things. This is the lady.
This is a young man sitting on a bench. He had two big signs next to him. One said something about a Ponzi scheme, Substack.com, some address, and the other one said, it's not exact wording, Biden and Trump are in cahoots was the meaning of it, something about they're together and there's going to be a coup. There was the word coup on there. And he's just sitting quietly. There was a pack of flyers. I didn't get one. I was photographing the Trumpers. And then he got up. And I was on the far side, and he kind of walked, not towards me, but to the other side. And I thought, oh, those weren't his signs. He was just sitting there. I had just taken a picture of him. Actually, he paused and looked at me, and I took the last picture of him. And then I didn't even realize what he was doing. I thought, actually, he took it turned out to be, I guess, gasoline or some propellant, and doused himself. And my first thought was it was water. Like, I didn't realize he was homeless. And then he flung all these flyers everywhere, and I realized that he had been with the signs. And then he yelled at me to get far away, run far away, and he took out his lighter.
He actually yelled at you, move back?
Yeah, no, he said run away. Yeah,
run away?
Yeah, get away, get away. Like, he didn't want me to get too, because I was, like, coming closer to him, and he told me to get away, and I didn't know what to do, and I just did. I didn't stop him.
Is that the only thing he said? Did he say anything about the former president, anything like that?
Somebody else here heard him talking about some judge, supposedly, but I didn't. That's the only thing he said while I was near him.
Wild. My stream wasn't taken down. I deleted it. It wasn't taken down. There was something. Oh, the other crazy thing. I don't know where the people find these people. I was scrolling Twitter and I came across like this chick that was going off. And I was thinking, when I saw this, I was thinking, this is how people get shot and killed, especially with this young generation. And it's the caption is, dudes dating crazy racist chicks like this are going to get themselves in a bad situation one day. Leave her, man. And there's women out there too that will get you into some type of situation, can get you killed, and expect you to like defend them and shit.
What you gonna do about it?
Let your girl do your talking for you. Let your girl do your talking for you. Let your girl do your talking for you.
Fucking nigger.
Oh, now I'm a nigger. Fucking wetback. Go call ICE.
You're not a nigger.
Yo, I'm a nigger, yes.
You're a nigger.
Yeah.
Jamaican, right? You're
I'm
not
a fucking nigger, yeah.
All right?
Straight nigger. That's what.
No, we don't disrespect other races around here.
Oh, yeah, she just did.
Okay, she did, homie.
She just did.
She ain't a homie, dog.
Getting racist.
This is like the wildest. I don't know. Just
You
I don't even know what to
That's
say.
something else, homie. That's my lady, dog. That's my lady.
Yeah, you just ran up on mine and now you see the difference.
I didn't run up on her. I just asked her a question,
I'll run
homie.
up on your ass. fool.
Run up on me. Keep letting your girl talk you into a problem.
Valley, homie. Go back to fucking Compton, you little fucking dirty ass nigga. Oh, fucking nigga.
This is in Cali.
Watch how fast I find you. You don't know who you talking
Right here,
to.
what's cracking?
Don't talk like
What's
that.
cracking?
Look who you the only
But he's also co-signing this dumb shit too. This guy, you know.
know who you talking
You don't
to.
know who you're talking to, homie.
Who you gonna find?
You don't know who you're
Who
talking
you
to.
gonna find?
Just fucking, just go that way, dog.
Who you gonna find? I'm right here.
Go, baby, let's go.
And if something goes down, as if she's the one that's actually going to be dealing with this and fighting physically or whatever, guns getting shot.
Fucking threaten me, stupid little nigga.
Good, bro.
Get your fucking
Good, bro. Just go back, bro. Good, bro. Just kick
You don't
it,
disrespect
boy.
my racist, homie.
I know, but
No, I will. You a fucking jungle ass nigga. Fuck you.
Keep talking.
Bitch ass fool.
Keep talking.
Why you
What you gonna do?
Keep going, bro.
What you gonna do? Nada, right? Okay, what?
You'll see.
I don't know if that's the last of that, but I was scrolling and I was thinking, damn, bro. This is how these crazy situations happen. Somebody gets shot or killed real easy and quick. Yeah, you never know. It's dangerous to be around somebody like that, man. They'll pull you into all kinds of shit. All right, but I guess I'm gonna get some rest. I was chilling in bed. I was kind of watching DJ Academics. I was kind of following this weird, not weird, but this rap music beef. Chris Brown dissed Quavo. Quavo dissed Chris Brown, and Chris Brown dropped the track tonight, which is actually pretty fire. And then Drake dropped the diss again on Kendrick Lamar and used like AI technology to mimic Tupac's voice rapping, and then Snoop Dogg, and then Drake did it like one song. He dropped it on Instagram. Just crazy. So yeah, and she's gonna that lady that we just watched. She's gonna mess around with the wrong person one day. Not everybody's gonna be like that. Even though he was pissed, rightfully so. I mean, I don't know what happened before. The guy she was talking shit to, but she's gonna run into the wrong person one day. Because there's some people that they don't have much to lose, and you call them that word, you know. But all right, have a good night, guys. Love you. Tomorrow's the fight, by the way. Fight night tomorrow, 8 p.m. Eastern. Really excited about that. So, have a good night. Peace.